And news just in from the House of Commons. The Prime Minister has confirmed that all internet servers have failed.
The station started messing up, like really going wrong. And then people started pushing and shoving.
I was there for hours and hours, no food, no people, and eventually I had to try and get out.
I'm thinking this could be aliens.
Hey guys, my name is Max and I am a writer and director. I am a film student from Canterbury Christ Church University and I created the radio drama The Day the Internet Stood Still for the Screen South New Creatives first round of productions. It was a radio drama that I made last year in about summertime and put together with a wonderful producer, Daniel Johnson, who's a fellow film student of mine. We had Luke Hill, who was also the musician, and we got lots of people involved in the project, working with great sound designers, producers. The whole project was amazing to bring to life. In this video, I just wanted to talk about what it was like to put the project together. So firstly, I wanted to go over the sort of beginnings of the idea, where it came from, how I first heard about the opportunity. So within the university at Canterbury Christ Church, we had Joe Nolan, the head of Screen South, come in and talk about what the Screen South vision was, what they were looking for. Obviously, it's for young people to come and get involved and bring their ideas, with the shot of them getting produced into either short films, short radio pieces, or interactive VR style for game students. And I submitted an audio piece as a result of this meeting, and it was really good fun to sort of start to put together my ideas, having that meeting with Joe, finding out what they sort of wanted, and then going away and writing. So when I went home, sort of the things that I really was thinking about was contemporary, what things I think I want to talk about in the modern day. And it started off really with me having just a chat with my family about it, and I sort of spitballed some ideas with my dad about the internet, what it would be like if that was down for a day, and sort of what it would affect really. And there was a day last year, if you can remember, where O2 went down for a day, and there were some problems surrounding that. And I know I had problems when I was trying to communicate with people at university. And I wanted to sort of think about what would happen if that was more of a sort of global thing, and it wasn't just sort of one network. And that's where the idea really springboarded from, about sort of a dependency on the internet and what would be happening without it. After I submitted my idea, went for the interview to sort of bring that idea to life, sort of suggest why I think this is something that needs to be curated and created today by someone like myself. And I was interviewed by a group of people, and that was a really interesting experience. It was really sort of telling as to what the interview experience is like, what people, sort of questions people will ask you about your work, and try and sort of generate an understanding between yourself, the curator, and the people that are going to be funding your work. I sort of went in with my one-line slogan, which was that this was War of the Worlds for a modern age. I wanted to have that same feeling that the War of the Worlds had when it came out, but now. And I wanted to sort of get that across, because when people are interviewing you, I wanted them to come at it with their own ideas. I wanted them to be thinking about what it would be like if the internet had gone down for a day. And it really springboarded from there. After that, I knew I needed some help, so I got involved with Daniel Johnson, who ended up being the producer for this project. A fellow student of mine, I've worked with him on some film projects at university level as well, so great to work with him. And bringing in people like Luke Hill, who's a great musician, also a fellow film student, and getting to work with industry professionals. We got an executive producer on board, we had sound designers. It was just a really great experience. It was a nice blend of university level people getting a great opportunity and being able to work with people who have been in the industry for quite some time. So moving through this, we then got to explore what it was like to update and change the idea based on feedback. We got a lot of feedback based on the script, and I went away and made some changes. One interesting thing that I did with the script was I sort of overhauled all my dialogue based on some of the conversations we had. And that really elevated it to the next level, because the concept level we were all happy with, but sort of bringing it home and making it sort of realistically doable in the time period at a high quality we had to make some changes, and I learned a lot about what that was like to, not necessarily, the word compromise is wrong, but knowing what is realistic to do to achieve high quality and what things are actually a little bit more complicated to make than you may expect. So script changes were made. Also then just started to look for actors and work with actors. This was my first time getting to work with professional actors in a professional setting where they're sort of coming down, they've read your script, they've taken in the content. It was an incredible experience to get to work with those actors because they'd clearly brought all their own ideas to the table. They'd done research, they'd thought about it themselves. There's a character in the story who's a little bit more of a conspiracy theorist, and the person who was playing that went away and actually watched some conspiracy theory documentaries just to sort of get themselves in the frame of the character. And I thought that was really interesting, a very interesting approach to working. And it was just nice to see that high level, to understand how actors really do know how to bring your work to life, and they really did. But I'm sort of jumping ahead there because when the script was sort of finished and finalised, there was a lot of sort of putting pieces together to get this thing made, and you spend a lot of time in emails, sort of getting the hotels organised, making sure people are in the right places, making sure actors are going to get food if they're there for a long period of time, making sure everyone can get to exactly where the thing is being created. And you spend so much time in emails for months, and it just doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. And then suddenly you've got 2 days to make it, and those 2 days have arrived, and you're sort of walking up to the studio and you're about to make it, and the sort of rush of excitement is there. But what I noticed is for a long time, it feels like nothing is happening, but it's actually all happening. It's happening from the sort of exec level where they're helping you, making sure everything's all right, but it's still giving you like a full creative freedom, which I really liked about the process. You got to work with industry standard professionals, but you also got to make your own decisions, which was really, really nice. And both me and Dan had a flexibility, Dan, me and my producer, as to how we wanted to work with our budgets. And this was my first time working with a budget as well, so being able to sort of assign it sensibly, knowing what things would require the most amount of money to put aside for, and the rate that expenses go up that you just don't expect, sort of all the little costs, things like hotels, cost of food throughout the day, catering. It's all those little things that you get to realise through this project, and will elevate you for future sort of filmmaking endeavours, which is really, really nice because it's the first sort of, you're dipping your toes into the professional environment. If you're young and you've never done anything like this before, I really recommend it because it opens your eyes to the world, and the Screen South process is never the end of it. It's really the beginning of a career in whatever medium you want to take up. It's the start point. It's where you say, this is what I want to do, I'm going to go and do it. And then you've got this thing to show people, whatever platform it ends up on, or whatever form it takes, that I've made this thing, that from beginning to end. And it's one of the most fulfilling sort of processes to go through. And now that I've done it, I just want to keep making things. I've started making some things in my own time, away from my university studies, that have definitely been more streamlined in the creation of, because I've been through this Screen South process. There were certain scripts that I've written in the past that I had no real concept of how I wanted to bring to life. But now that I've done the Screen South process, I know exactly how I want to bring them to life, and I can feasibly bring them to life, making them with groups of people that I've formed as a result of the project through working with people. So that is sort of my really shortest sort of diary about what Screen South was like for me. I'll probably do some more sharing about what this experience was like in more detail as sort of the release cycle of this continues. I'm hoping to start to push this out to festivals as well, which is another huge part of the development through Screen South. They help you with marketing. They help you with trying to actually get it out, so once it's made, you can actually start to showcase it to people and show off how proud you are of your work, because it really is a process of doing that. So for me, I've made it now, and now I want to start to share it and make sure everyone gets to see it. And I'll be sharing the link with you, however you're watching this, to see that, or to hear that radio drama that I created, or I directed and wrote. I wasn't the only person involved in this. There was such an amazing team behind it that actually brought this to life, and I really, really couldn't have done it without all of them. So thank you very much for watching this really, really short video, just talking about some of my experiences and just a short little diary. I'll be sharing more in the future, and I will see you all in the next video.